we talk about health is wealth and wealth is health, but we really should just start thinking about, and I posed a question earlier. Let me pull it up. But the question I posed earlier was, why do you think people are so uncomfortable discussing finances? And finances is such an important aspect of our overall health. We think a lot about our physical health when it comes in terms of wellness, but then we don't actually think about the different other dimensions of wellness, and finances plays such a major role. But for whatever reason why it's been such a taboo topic of discussion. So pose a question, and I actually got a lot of feedback on things. And what I noticed was the biggest thing was embarrassment and shame, or it just wasn't talked about when like growing up. So have you guys had that same experience? I mean, Chelsea and I, like, we talked about it as I got older, but it's not something we grew up talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a topic of conversation in my family. Well, it never was. I think I'm the only one who talks about it. And I'm the one that's frowned upon.
You said you're no longer allowed to talk about it?
I said I'm the only one who talks about it, but I'm also the only one that's frowned upon too.
You're talking about wellness and finances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I talk about it. I'll talk about it. I like ask people questions because I want everyone to be in a good space. And I think once I start talking about it with people, they talk about it. But one thing for me, work would always tell you not to talk about what other people made, even though I always ended up knowing what everyone else made. It was one of those things that they would tell you not to do. And a lot of times, so they could take advantage of employees. So I think part of the reason we were trained to not talk about it as a manipulation tool to keep us where we are, not let us know that we can do more.
No, that's a really valid point, because I remember when I got my job working physical therapy, nobody really talked about it. I didn't really know what other people made, but my friend and I, we were working in the same company, but different areas, like different locations. So then we talked about it, and I was making significantly more than them, and they had came out 3 to 5 years sooner than I did. And he was pissed. I was like, I mean, you're a great therapist and you have great experience. You should be upset. But they only give like a standard 2% raise. And you shouldn't have to be forced to leave a job in order to get paid more money or what you're worth. But yet they're still giving this like standard stuff. And then, Chelsea, you posed like a good point earlier too. Just with you, if we started talking about it and things were more open, would we be able to increase our wages? Because it's no hidden secret that wages are far below cost of living, and with inflation, wages have not increased, but cost of goods and services has like drastically increased, and wages have stayed pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I left my job, we pretty much, in the government, everybody goes by their grade. So if you ask someone what their grade is, like, they're always hesitant to tell you
their grade levels.
Yeah.
So their finances.
Yeah, it's more about the grade levels and their steps. So they could be a 12, but they could be a step 5 or 7, and that changes their whole income. But the only thing you got to do is Google it, and it's right there.
Mm-hmm. You see, with a lot of companies, I feel like they make it so hard for you to know what like their prices are, and like their ranges for salary. And people often don't even know what to negotiate. When I was going for my first job, like I looked at ranges for national average salaries for physical therapists, but I mean, you still don't really know what to ask for, and then how to negotiate so that you're actually getting what you deserve, or you're able to get more. I feel like we undercut ourselves so often. We just take what's given to us and we don't really try to get more. And I don't understand why we do that.
I think the fear of
Rejection.
everyone, yeah, I was just about to say, everyone's scared to ask the person like for $32 an hour. Like, what are they gonna? How are they gonna look at me after I ask them for that amount? You know, it's more than everybody else. Like, then will I be on the hot seat of getting fired or
Not getting a job.
true?
Suppose you,
Right?
I said a lot of times, suppose you get it. I mean, it's just a mindset shift.
Not necessarily. Here's the thing. I've been unemployed for a year. You know what I'm saying? And I know how hard it is to negotiate what you want. Typically, they'll go and ask you. The first thing they ask you is, "What did you make at your previous job?"
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll normally go like $5,000 over that and think you'll be satisfied. Even despite the situation with the job, it could pay 3 times more than that. But that's where their power is. And they always use that as leverage. So that extra money, I learned, either line somebody's pocket or it can buy 2 people for the price of 1. That's why about corp to corp. Is when you do corp to corp, like if a contractor goes to pick you up and they'll try to give you a W-2, say, no, I don't want a W-2. I want to go corp to corp. You pay
What's
your
corp to corp?
But corp to corp is basically they're hiring you for your services as if you're your own entity. So you pay your own taxes. So instead of you making $60,000 a year, that's really $120 because you pay for your benefits. I'm sorry, it's actually $150, but they'll give you $120. You pay for your benefits and you quarterly pay your taxes.
Yeah, Travis, you were saying that yesterday. You were like, you'll 1099 someone any day.
Absolutely. I mean, the payroll taxes. You know, most employees want benefits, which means that I have to match it.
Yeah.
You know, that's money out of my pocket that I'm not trying to come up off of. Only reason I'll do that is if there's a SME that I need him on my team and I need to give him what he wants so he don't go nowhere.
Subject matter expert.
You see, physical therapy, I asked them about, like when I was doing travel therapy, I asked them about 1099 and getting paid that way, and they told me no. And oftentimes that I don't understand why they were starting to do away with that, but I mean, they prefer the whole W-2 thing.
Well, on the business side, if I don't W-2 you, and that's why I W-2 SMEs, because when I put you on payroll, I'm allowed to utilize all of your qualifications as my company. So it's no longer you have those qualifications. My entire company now possesses all of your qualifications because you're an employee to my company. Now, you being a 1099, you're technically not an employee, and I can't utilize your qualifications. I would have to partner with you and like make subcontract agreements, and that makes things more difficult. Where if I send you out to 10 different people, that means my company touched 10 different people, not just you. So it's ways to look at it, you know. It's ups and downs of paying people through W-2 as well as 1099, but I always focus on W-2 and people that can benefit the company.
All right, so if someone wanted to go, how would someone go about negotiating to get a 1099 versus a W-2?
Yes. That's all.
Yep.
The first thing you do is that you ask, is there a way to go corp to corp or do 1099? And a lot of them will just straight up say, no, it's just 40 hours with benefits, 40 hours a week, 80 every 2, with benefits and 401k match. They're already set up like that. But it doesn't hurt to ask, because when you do ask, then they look at you differently. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you know about the 1099 thing. Most people don't even know about a 1099. They don't even know what a 1099 is.
Right.
Like, well, in my field, in the IT field, there's a lot of really smart people, but they're not business savvy or they're not money savvy. They know how to trade. They may play around with Bitcoin or a couple stocks, but they're not hip to they're not business savvy at all. So a lot of times, like when I come in, I may not be the most technically savvy person, but I trump a lot of people's businesses and just being able to communicate, because a lot of them are introverts and they just take what you give them.
I mean, when it comes to finances, it seems like it's definitely a lot of mindset and also going out and seeking knowledge. And a lot of people are scared about finances. So what fears do you feel you've have or had regarding finances?
I mean, I always carry a fear. Well, I can conquer it, but it's always in the back of my mind is, am I about to fuck up? Because I mean, I'm a high risk taker, and I'm heavy in the businesses and stocks and different investments and educating myself as well, trying out different things, and it's always like, is this the month that I've fucked up and miscalculated? Because it's always a possibility. Um, you know, anything could happen at any time, and it's like, since I haven't had quote unquote the professional training, it's always, am I doing? Is what I know correct?
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good. Knock on wood.
Right.
But that's always a fear that's in my mind. Like, are you messing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. It's like how can I put it? It's a swag you develop, because at first you're not confident enough to ask those questions. You're just blessed enough to be getting the position that you thought you want until you get the position and you're not getting paid, what you think you should be paid, or you find out what other people making, not making it. So I say it's like a confidence you develop in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and your skill set and your ability to do the job or outperform anybody that's in front of you. Once you get that swag and you had the credentials to back it, or you know that you can do the job hands down, literally you win. Like, you're normally surrounded by a bunch of people that really don't know what they're doing anyway. Like, a lot of those recruiters, they have no idea what they're doing. They're just like, yes, I was able to pocket a few dollars, cool. But outside of that, they don't know anything about your job. Like, I don't know if you've been in any temp agencies or technical recruiters. They don't give a shit about what you're doing. They're just reading a piece of paper, and then they're saying this is the rate. So when you come back and you start negotiating, or when you come back and you start spitting that knowledge because you tried it before, there's nothing wrong with trying and failing. But when you tried it, you learn how to perfect it, or you learn how to demand the things that you want versus what they're going to give you. Like I said, a lot of people are really unsure about this because nobody really talks about it. How to negotiate wages, how to ask for this, how to ask for that. You just got to do it. You got to throw yourself into it. And like I said, do it enough times, it works for you.
I feel like for me, like my fears at first, it was just lack of knowledge, not really know what you don't know. And you're always scared of what you don't know. It's scary getting into that, especially coming from a community where, people don't really talk about it. It's a lot. I feel like people talk about it a little bit more now than they used to, and a lot of investing type of things have become a lot more popular. So it has opened the door for conversation a lot more than before. But man, if I knew the things that I know now, even when I first turned like an adult, 18, man, the life that I have right now would be completely different. But no one talked about it, no one knew. And I feel like that has a lot to do with our financial history. like how money was talked about and what we knew about things when we were younger. There's like far and few between who I've actually spoken with that said, oh yeah, like when we were younger, they used to talk about finances around the dinner table. We used to talk about like money and business and do all these
Yeah,
things.
that's the whites.
Yeah, that's what they say, quote
That's
unquote.
white people stuff. Why you trying to act white?
Yeah, it sounds about white.
Yeah. And it's just like, why does doing something good have to be white?
Well, it goes back to when we did the round table and I had the Wale video playing. Uh, everything that's been embedded in our head, when you see black people is negative. So it doesn't change just because we're black and we're thinking about each other. It's still negativity because that's all we see. So to think positive on a black person, even when it comes to money, is extremely hard. When a black person has money, he's got to be evil. He's got to be taking advantage of people. He's got to be a Trump supporter or a lover and things like that. Just because we've gotten educated on what's going on, we took a different path. Trying things differently.
Let me go left. Let me go left with that real quick.
Okay.
I said, let me go left with that. Let me ask you this: what separates you, Travis, and me from Sean Diddy Combs?
Just his followers.
Just one word. And you may already have it, but
Drive.
no, not just the drive. You gotta have something. You gotta have something before the drive.
He had a vision.
There you go. He has vision. He lived out of his car after he lost his deal with Andre Harrell. Literally, lost everything. He lived out of his car. You feel what I'm saying? But he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
That's his
Yeah, I know. That's why he's shaking his head. But what happens is we have all of these ideas, but nobody has a vision. We're always planning for the future and not paying attention to the right now. So I heard something today. It says your future doesn't exist. What you do every day exists. Your present exists. And what you do every day in your present will manifest your future. So stop worrying about your future and worry about what you do day to day. Right. So in retrospect to that paycheck, my vision is I'm making 6 figures my next roll round. 6 figures plus, right? That's my vision. But then I get to the table and I'm afraid. Why are you afraid of your vision? And white people are taught to embrace that. You know what I'm saying? Because my father does this, that, and the third, so it's nothing for me to ask for $500,000 salary. That's where I grew up.
That, and on top of that, that's what they're getting. So is there also then a fear when if we're talking differentiation in race that, hey, you just said at one point, my father does it. It's expected that you make 6 figures. Are we afraid to do more because it's not expected for us to do it?
We're expecting to make $40,000.
But I think our issue is, we also expect that we went to college and we've gotten the certification.
It's just going to be handed to us after that.
Yeah, and we forget, like, we're black. Right. And for instance, you can go demand your pay if you have the research to back what you're talking about. But a lot of the times we don't want to do the research. Because if you go sit at that table and they offer you, $28 an hour and you've done the research in their company or you've done the research in the companies around, and you're able to show your past performance, they can't deny you your pay. For example, when I got out of college, I was able to increase my pay because of the GSA schedule. A lot of people don't know about contracting in business, but all government contractors who do work with the federal government is public information. So if they put a bid out and win a $1 billion bid, I can go look at that contract and find out how much they're charging the government per rate, because they gave me a title for my job, and that title is in that contract saying how much they're charging each person at this title for that rate. So if you just go in there and you take out 28% or so, you can get their pay. And now you're not blindly thinking about how much I should get paid. Is no, I'm telling you this is how much I'm getting paid. Like this is what the market is, not what Google said it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the portion comes from the confidence.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about the health portion. My bad. When you feel better about something, then like like if I'm off like mentally, you know what I'm saying? I feel horrible, and then I get a cold, or then I stop feeling bad, or I don't have any energy to do anything because I'm mentally blocked somewhere. But when you feel more confident, that's a good health perspective. That boosts your immune system, your endorphins. I don't know. You may go have some, relations or something like whatever the case may be.
I mean, it boosts your vision too.
Huh?
It boosts your vision too. Like confidence is key.
It is.
I
was just trying to
have people get experience, mentors, different things like that. I mean, you were talking about influence. Like we were talking about influence and different things the other day. And I mean, how are you going to have influence over people if you can't even influence yourself to believe in yourself? So, it all starts with that and making yourself more marketable. But making yourself more marketable is increasing your knowledge, increasing your confidence, and coming at someone knowing like, hey, I can do this. And you got to sell yourself. Like no one likes selling, but we got to sell ourselves every single day. We got to sell ourselves for a job. We got to sell ourselves for a relationship. We got to sell ourselves for anything and everything, whether you're selling a product or you're selling a service. Why would that person want to work with you over the next person, right? There's something about you that is drawing, and your money is only going to be as big as your influence.
Harry made a good point that having that confidence can literally take you to wherever you want to go. But the problem that I've seen amongst us is we come into the game with our confidence too high. Like we come into the game thinking that we're Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan because we watched Tony Robbins and them, and they said if we say we can do it, we can do it. And we start out saying that we can make $1 million, and a month later, you haven't made $500, and it's the reason because you never put yourself in the situation to start gaining confidence. And you didn't go for the little win of making $50 in something that you've never done before. And if you can make $50, that'll give you the confidence to make 100. And when you make 100, it's like, hold on, I think I can do 1,000. And you have to build your confidence up to that level. But too many times, like we're coming in this thing, and I see Pete across the street just bought a new Tesla. Like I'm like, hold up, there's no way that ugly ass Pete can sell things on the internet and buy a new Tesla. I know I can go do that too. And we jump out there, but we didn't understand Pete's been knocking away at this for 3 years. And we jump in it and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to build that confidence.
I feel like staying humble, even while you have confidence, is key too. Because even when you're confident, everybody can still learn something. So being having too much of an ego can really just destroy anything and everything that you're going after. Even if you know everything, you don't have to act like you're better than other people or that someone can't tell you or teach you something, because you can learn something from a child. Nice. You can learn something from everyone. And I think the moment that we realize that life is about learning and you're going to make mistakes, we can't just be so quick to give up, because when you give up, then you give up on your dreams. You know, you say that you want something, but how hard are you willing to work for it? Like, we want someone's glory, but we're not willing to understand the story and everything that they went through to get to that point. So yeah, it's the same thing with anything in life. If you want your finances to be better, think about like what it is and who like whose life do you want? What did they do to get that life? You know that they started off somewhere else, but like what was the journey and process along the way? Because it's not some straight and narrow,
What
there. Huh?
What do they give up even today?
What?
What do they give up? Some, like, it's just like one of those, everyone wants to be the boss, but no one wants the responsibility.
Right. The sacrifice. Like there's sacrifice. Like even if you think about like yeah, Kobe, like he sacrificed a lot in order to get what he had. All the practicing, going in after times, like other people going home, they're relaxing and partying. What do you do? Practice.
Yeah,
So,
cool too. Like I was talking to someone, I was talking to Robin the other day, and I was like, when I have kids, I'm like, I just need, I want to have my body back. And she's like, you just have to accept that you're not going to. I'm like, J-Lo looks amazing. Did you see her in that movie? And I was like, she's what, almost 50, or she's 50? And she's like, everyone wants to have the J-Lo body, but no one wants to give up stuff that J-Lo does. No one wants to put in the work that she puts in. No one wants to eat how she eats. And that's not something that just happened overnight. This is years in the making. So years in the making, are you willing to put in the work today so you can have what someone else has when you reach that milestone? But a lot of times, like you were saying, you don't. It's immediate gratification. We need to kind of change our mindsets from this immediate gratification mindset.
I think we're forgetting something.
What?
Why you make that face, man?
Because I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. I think we're forgetting something.
What are we forgetting?
Fight.
Fight.
I'll put it to you like this. I was in my 3rd semester of college. I needed a full-time job. I'm not taking another bullshit sales job. I'm not selling no more cars. I'm not selling any more other stuff. I want to work in the IT field. So you know what I did? I studied interview questions while I was in school doing my work for IT. I was a network engineer. But I wanted to, they weren't going to hire me for that. So I went ahead and started interviewing for help desk gigs. And they said, no, you can't do that. You got to go to the career center. You got to do this, that, and the third. You can't do that until, you're in your 8th semester. You can't do it this semester. I was like, all right, watch. In 2 weeks, I had a job. So it was just like, if I want red, you're not going to give me blue. I'm getting red. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that's the one thing we forget. The doors are going to shut in your face. You're going to look stupid. You're going to not know what the hell you're talking about. You're not going to know what you're doing. But sometimes you just got to go ahead and muscle up and fight through it. Because y'all not going to beat me. Nobody's going to beat me. And when I got there in that first IT job where I didn't know shit, I was like, I'm going to be the best person in this cubicle. And then the cubicle in front of me, I'm going to be better than him. I'm going to be the best person in this row. Then I'm going to be the best person on this damn floor. And that's how I became a subject matter expert. And I didn't even finish college. And all these guys got degrees and master's degrees. And I'm like, why are you here making this little bit of money? So it's the fight.
Yeah. You have to want it. So like I was listening to Steve Harvey talk the other day, and he was just saying how he loved being funny. He loved being a comedian, and he recalls looking back and his teacher, and I think he was in like 1st grade, his teachers told them all to write down what they wanted to be when they got older. And he said, when I get older, I want to be on TV. So they called everyone else up and they talked about like different things. And then like the teacher called him up and questioned him. And at first he thought like, man, I'm going to the front of the class. She saved the best for last. Like, I'm excited. No one else said they wanted to be on TV. I'm good. Like, I'm doing great. And she chastised him and embarrassed him in front of the entire classroom, saying, why would you even think this? Like, how do you think that you can do this, that you could be on TV? Because no one from our school's ever done that. No one from our community's ever done that. No one like you has ever been like that. And you need to start thinking of something that's a little bit more realistic. and he's sick. This is like, how many times do we tell ourselves or our family or different people that their goals and their dreams aren't for them? Like, God gives us vision and he gives us hope and faith, and that's the evidence of things not seen. Just because we can't see it right now, just because other people won't see it and can't understand it, doesn't mean that defers and like dictates what our dream and how our dream comes true. Like, God's got us. So if God has put something in like our hearts or in your heart, and you have made that and you see the vision, someone's lack their ability to see what you see doesn't stop you from seeing. Just because someone else is blind doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm blind, So I think that we have to really focus on not listening to what society says, because society's always going to try to like take you away, whether it's a business idea, an invention, or whatever it may be. Don't tell it to small-minded people, because that's the quickest way to try to kill your dream.
So that goes to our 30-day exercise that we're supposed to be having, right? Don't talk to people who are negative. Don't talk to the negative energy. Don't feed it. I always say is, as I'm eating this turkey burger, but
I want one.
What you put into your body, physically and mentally, is what you're going to get out.
Right.
Trash in, you're going to get trash out. If you eat trash, you're going to feel like trash and you're going to look like trash. Mm-hmm. If you listen to bad stuff, you're going to get bad stuff out. You're a product of what you feed yourself.
So no more trap music?
No more trap music.
Well, since you guys got into it, and those who are listening, we do have.
Someone said sometimes you have to make less announcements and more moves.
We're having a Hustlers 30-day challenge. I should actually have that site up soon, but if you guys want to join us in that challenge, what we're doing for 30 days is we are reading for 15 minutes minimum a day. We're getting rid of TV, or at least the news. All right, if you can't possibly get rid of TV, but I really want you to get rid of TV for 30 days. I want you to get rid of the radio. We had a great question from Dr. Nell when we came to this, and she asked, what about gospel music? And I said, that is still the radio, okay? Put podcasts in your ears, something that is educational. I think you can get the spiritual's not going anywhere.
Listen to messages.
Yeah. And I told her there's biblical entrepreneurs who she could listen to and get the message at the same time while doing that. So check out podcasts instead of radio. Be careful who you talk to. This is a key one. So if you have people, how do you know who do you talk to is what do they have you thinking, or what do they have you doing? If any of those are negative, I want you to stay away from those people for the next 30 days. Come up with a story of why you got to stay away. I don't care. The other one, get rid of negative reading. So don't read blogs, don't read newspapers, don't read anything negative. Drink plenty of water every day. Exercise a minimum of 30 minutes every day, and have a minimum of 15 to 30 minutes of reflection time every day. We're doing that for 30 days, guys. So I hope that you guys are going in on that with us.
So someone posed a question. So they said that confidence is very important as well, correct? So Kobe and Jordan both said that having a commanding confidence in yourself and ability was important, but imposing it as will on opponents was the key to success. I'm curious at your level, or what it's your perspective concerning the balance between humbling yourself and maintaining a substantial level of confidence when engaging others in the market.
Okay, so
for me, I feel like you could be successful. I mean, you could be confident and humble, but my thing is, when it starts to become more of an arrogance, is your attitude and your aura that you put off and regarding that. Like, sometimes some people are just rude, and I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I think it goes to one of the things we also were talking about is being an authority in your area. So be that authority. And with that confidence, you are being that authority. Humbleness is really kind of just respect for others when it comes to how you interact with them with the things that you know. A lot of times people feel that humility means you can say like, oh no, I'm not that great. Oh no, I don't really know this. Oh no, this, that, and the other. You can be like, thank you. A simple show of gratitude is still being humble.
Versus like, yeah, I know I'm the shit. Like, you don't have to be arrogant. Like, you can be confident, but humble.
But then that's still confident. You're not questioning yourself. Oftentimes people they feel like they're strong in an area. They know a topic. They are good at a task or talent. And they try to downplay it thinking that's humility. Downplaying it is just degrading yourself, belittling yourself, and taking away from your confidence, opposed to uplifting yourself and uplifting others. Yeah. Like, yes, thank you. This is something I worked really hard for. You can achieve it too. This is one thing that you are aspired to be or aspired to do.
Like encouraging others in that like aspect. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's a great explanation between like the two.
You know, like
they're not like you can have both of them together. It's not like you can only choose one or the other. And I feel like people do feel like, oh, from being humble, I can't show that I'm confident, but that's not true.
I think there's a point where we don't understand greatness, right? So like Kobe and Jordan, a lot of people call them big heads, and they don't understand what it takes to be great. Like you have to do things that nobody else is doing. You know, you have to be that much more dedicated. You have to, like, if you find a person that's doing more than you, you then have to readjust what you do so you can do more than them. And a lot of the time, that seems like cockiness to the person who doesn't get it, because they could never see themselves as being great. But you can't. I told my friend the other day, they were talking about, Jeff Bezos and the billionaires, how they're not contributing and things like that. And if you want to get to be a billionaire, like you're outside of everyone else. And I promise you, in order to get $1 billion, you are an asshole to somebody. So it's impossible if you really have that big of a vision to not seem cocky to somebody. So you just put yourself around people who can understand the vision, and then you'll no longer seem cocky. Like you're with people who get where you're trying to go. But if you keep talking to people who don't get where you're trying to go, I mean, you'll always seem cocky.
I mean, you can't please everybody. I mean, that's a simple thing. There's always going to be those haters out there, and they're always going to have something to say. I mean,
you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
Everything can't be yes.
No.
Unfortunately, people seem to believe in order to be nice and supportive and all this other stuff, it means that you have to say yes and be there for everyone.
You got to have healthy boundaries.
You have to have boundaries.
And that might seem like it's being selfish, but it's not. It's just being healthy and having a healthy relationship with yourself and knowing like what is good and not good for you. Because if you have no boundaries, people will cross them and they will take advantage of it. And it's going to take away from your energy, your good energy. They're going to keep like, it's going to be like a leech. It's just going to suck everything out of you. And you have to be able to set those boundaries so you can reach your goals. Because if you don't, other people will make sure that you won't, like they will hold you back.
I told someone yesterday or the other day, you can't help everyone if you haven't helped yourself. I was like, it really goes back to that classic example of the airline. Put your mask on first before you help others, because if you pass out in the process and you were needed to help all these other people, you can't help them if you're dead. You can't help people if you're poor, if you're broke, and if you're struggling the same way they're struggling. How can you actually help them?
That's why I try to advise people, watch who you get advice from. because that everyone has a motive. Right? I don't care what they're talking about. There's a motive behind everything that someone says. So you always need to figure out the person who you're getting your education from. What is their motive? Um, because if it's just money, I mean, you're going to get the results of just money. But a lot of people like, a Tony Robbins, for instance, he gets a lot of money, but his motive has never been money. It just so happens that money comes along with what he does. But he also employs tons of people. He's able to help people all across the world. And ET, these people have to get money because they grow naturally. And no one's. I hate when people talk about they make too much money, like someone makes too much money. Like nobody's in business not to make money. I just don't ever understand that aspect. Like you don't get in the business to only make $60,000 or $70,000. Like you get in business to make sure that your kids can eat. And in order for that, like that's $100,000 a year per person. So you have to make money. And
like even if you get in the business for passion, money is almost equivalent to how much work you're doing and like how many people you're reaching. So if it's passion for helping people, well, help more people. The more people you help, technically, the more money you're going to make, but you're helping more people. I feel like, someone said you can't grow if you only surround yourself with people at your level or below. And then someone said, yeah, facts. You have to surround yourself around successful people to be successful.
Yeah. And if you guys don't have successful people to surround yourself with, one, visit hustlethenet.com. We can get you around some people. But two, pick up a book, man. Pick up a book and put your mind next to them. I'm going to get this letter one day. But like I wrote a letter to Diddy. If I could pull up my Instagram right now and go look at Diddy's DMs, he has like 200 messages from me. I've been talking to Diddy forever. He ain't responded yet, but damn it, he will respond one day. And it's like,
right?
I just said, yo, I'm next to Diddy. I gave everybody my whole story. Like, look, Diddy might not understand that I'm talking to him every day, but like he's just a person, He shows me his life on Instagram, so hell, I can be next to him. And all of us talk to ourselves every day. You can talk to these people in the DM, they ain't gonna answer you, but imagine if they do answer one day and they look back off the 200 messages that you've been sending. Like, come on, man. Like, who cares? And that's my thing. Like, I'm never ashamed or like, what's the worst that could happen that I'm sending all these messages to Diddy? Somebody could look at my inbox and go, yo, he's crazy about Diddy. Okay, whatever. Like, they don't get me.
Or they could say that you're super persistent and that you have a lot of drive and you must really want it. You're talking about ET and we're just I was watching him the other day too. So he was like in regards to money, he found out he really loved talking to the students. Well, students don't got no money. So what did they say? They said, well, you know what? I want you to only speak about like something that you're passionate about. So we're going to have to find a different way to make money. He started making money with real estate. He made money other ways so that he had the freedom to do what he loved without having to focus on the money aspect of things. And that goes back into multiple streams of income too.
So I just got a call, guys. We've talked about this before, but with the whole mindset thing, I kind of want to talk about desperation and why sometimes people believe things that logically don't make sense. So I know we've all had the discussion about this flower that is going around. And a lot of times people fall into these get rich quick schemes. So we've been talking about patience and drive and vision. We kind of address the different things that kind of cause people to fall into things that logically the math does not add up. The math doesn't add up, but they're skeptical to invest into a business together or invest into a fund that is actually has something tangible along with it. And a lot of times then the response is, well, this is in the scheme. I got paid out, or this person got paid out. Yes, but someone will always win. You don't have something sustainable. So unfortunately, I feel like a lot of us Black people, will go into these things. There's a part, like, to me, it's like desperation and kind of wanting something to work and not really seeing the full picture and seeing how something's not sustainable. You know,
And it's quick money too. Desperation and quick money. Like,
yeah.
people want it now, but they're not willing to work because you can offer them a business opportunity, and all of a sudden they have all these questions, and they're like, "Oh no, like that's a scheme, that's this, that's that." And I'm like, "Well, did you think about that other situation?" But no, it sounded like it was going to give you money quickly without having to work. So, like, we need to get over this whole concept that, like, we want quick money now, but we don't want to work for it.
So
You gotta pray you win the lottery, because that's the only that's the only way.
Well, I think it all has a play to do with slavery. Like my nephew, myself, like, I hate slavery movies. Like, I do not want to see them. I don't want to talk about slavery. Like, I understand what happened back then. Like, you got to stop showing me that. Like, one thing I can tell you for sure, it will never be whips and chains that ever come out again. You got these police doing something crazy, but the slavery days that happened back then, like, I will blow this bitch up before this ever happens again. Like, it will never ever happen again. So stop drilling that in my head. And I think that makes us scared, from what we've seen back then, how one person, one Black person can achieve while the other field of 100 niggas are in a cotton field. You have the one in the house that they all envy. And Django, for instance, I'm watching that and I'm just sitting there like the whole time. He's like, what's this nigga doing here with sharing this stuff? Like, he ain't supposed to be having this. And although it's comedy to us, when we watch it in the movie, like, that's something that drills in your head, that goes back to me talking about the words that come into your mind. That stuff sticks. Although it's funny, it has a lasting impression going on down the road. Now when we go to do business, I want to know why you made 200,000, I only made 90,000, and nobody ever thought about the time that I put in, or investments, or anything else. It's just why wasn't the money split evenly just because it was money? Nobody ever thought about the work.
Let's take that from this perspective. Let's talk about focus. In our most recent event, there's a man that was pulled over supposedly about a counterfeit check. He was detained by the police. The check wasn't bad. It was just a check, and they probably hadn't seen one for a while. He was detained by the police. He was held down, and then not only was he held down, but the officer's knee was on his neck, and he was clearly crying out, "I can't breathe."
The most recent situation.
The most recent situation. Now, in response, my timeline is full of, oh, this ain't right. This ain't this. This ain't that. So the last time something like this happened, we had shirts made for somebody to profit off of that said, "I can't breathe." Then we did a jog or a walk for the young man that was jogging and got shot while he was jogging. We'll march on something. We'll supposedly protest something. We'll supposedly boycott something. But nobody's making any moves until somebody else makes a move. And it's always the safest move, so nobody gets hurt or we don't gain any type of control. So what I'm saying is, how does focus relate to health? Because right now, we have the power to make change. The focus is on everything but that. And it's just like, how long are we going to allow these things to happen to us? We could take that scenario and go to our day-to-day. You go to a job that you hate. You drive a car that you don't want. You live in a place that you hate. You hate yourself all day. You come home, you watch TV, hating yourself and hating the next day, and you live for Friday. That's the majority of our lives. Not our lives, but the majority of the people I know, that's the life that they live.
I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
I can't. I can't understand. I forgot today was, what's today? Today's Wednesday, right? My daughter's the only reason why I can keep up with the days of the week. Other than that, I'd be lost. But
I keep up with it because of this.
right, literally, we lack focus. And it's just like, I feel like that's one of the biggest unhealthy traits. Not really insecurity, not really the lack of confidence. I think it's the lack of focus.
Or focusing on the wrong things.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. What's important to you? You're going to focus on what's important to you. So that's why people are 90% of the time on their cell phones. That's important to them, or they think it is. You know, why can't we find a focus so these things aren't happening to us? Have you seen the Census Bureau, the last Census Bureau that was released? By far, we're at the bottom. And no offense to my Latinos, but they beating us now. And most of them migrated into this country illegally. They're beating us financially.
Yeah.
They're beating us across the board.
Well, they focus and they work together, and that's like.
But check this out. Do you think the majority is, what do you think the majority's doing? You think they're still number one?
Absolutely.
Nah.
Asians.
Asians.
Asians, right?
Asians.
Oh, well, I could say, well, I have a different term on majority. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is the self-proclaimed majority aren't really the majority anymore, but once again, you would think they would be on top of the ecosystem the top of the economy and the top of our overall ecosystem, but they're not. It's actually Asians.
Right.
Once again, when you see their families, they're focused. They come in here for a reason. We import talent. We don't grow talent here anymore. How many doctors do you know that are American besides Dr. No?
Well, you know, that's funny. That's one thing that Trump is trying to, you know, what he sees an issue that's in America is that 9 out of 10 things in our house comes from China. Right. So he's trying to tell people, like, China is making so much money off of us and they're not paying us for that. So he's like, either they're going to pay us more in taxes for doing all of this business over here, or he's going to tax the hell out of any company that's importing from over there.
But see, now they imported Wu-Tang Killer Bees and the coronavirus. They found a way to get back at us.
Yeah, I mean,
funny, but I'm looking at it like, yo, this is such a coincidence. Like,
but
we
you know,
always trading embargoes. Now look at this.
I went to school because we had a sister school in China, and just talking with like a lot of the students from there, just what they focus on is so different. And a part of the problem is it starts from youth. Like, what are we teaching our youth to focus on? Because they're going to grow up with that same exact focus. And my thing is this, like, our education system is whack. Like, what are we really teaching, like, our kids? And then this whole, like, no kid left behind, we're teaching them that it doesn't matter how hard you work. We're just going to push you along, and you don't have to work. So then now there's no effort in order to get ahead. You just exist, and because you exist and because you show up, that is good enough. And that's teaching bad behaviors. It's teaching lack of focus, because now there's no incentive to do better or to be better.
Well, I mean, that is the system, right? That's the system that. So I always say the education system was created a long time ago and it hasn't been updated. And it won't get updated, because if I teach you differently, then I can't make money off you. Just look at the biggest debt in the world right now is education. And if you just take the number, like, most people just don't want to look at simple mathematics. And there's no debt that doesn't have interest. So if this is the biggest debt that we face, you know it's getting charged made way more than 1%. But let's just say it was 1%. You know, you're trillions of dollars in debt. That's billions of dollars being made in interest alone. Why the hell would they get rid of the system? It's not the education system ain't working. It's working flawlessly. It's working great for business.
Our
Right?
ignorance is their wealth.
And they will never change the business because it makes too much money.
Right.
Even with them handing out money right now, what's going on? They're not giving it away. They're loaning it. They went upstairs, printed it on a printer, and loaned out this paper, and they get to make money off of it, and it's insane. But we just don't think in that manner, so we think we got to go to school. Where opposed, I went the same route, but then I started to realize, hold on, everybody's getting taught the same stuff year after year to do the same thing. Well, why don't I start putting people to work? And I realized if you put people to work, you get incentives like every 50 people that you hire on payroll. So when they're talking about the payroll protection loan, I when you look at the Fortune 500 companies, all of them are employing over 18,000 people, um, over 18,000 people in their organization. Well, each one of those people have to get taxed in their payroll. You work for your money. The government's just taking money from you that, they never did anything for. A third of it's automatically going away. So yeah, I'll give you money if you fund it in your payroll because you're just going to give me a third of it back, and the consumer's going to go spend the rest of it in sales tax, personal property tax, car tax. Like we're going to get our money back because they owe us interest. Banks are owned by the government. When you get loans for your house and your car, like the money is coming from the government to the bank. Matter of fact, the government's giving it to banks at a 0% interest rate right now because they want them to give it out because they have to make money back. So if I can give it to you, I can make more from you. It's just called interest. And it's like, damn, this is a great business model that they have set up. Like, they'll never get rid of this.
And the crazy thing with school is you get all these loans. You can't there's very hard ways to file bankruptcy for these loans. And then you come out with more loans than you do salary, and then you never get rid of them. Some people do, but most people, there are a lot of people who just die with them. And it's so crazy that within 3 years, most people can't even touch paying off their student loans.
No.
Because they just don't get paid enough, or people can't even find jobs after the fact. And it's just how can you expect to be financially free? One, half the time they're teaching you stuff that you already learned in high school. Why am I learning it again? And I'm paying a lot of money for it. It should be like a trade school. You go straight to school. If you need to learn the stuff, you go exactly for what you got to go for. Why are we being forced to have to do general education? I learned general education while I was in all of my primary school. I don't need general education. I'm here for what I want to be here for. And people shouldn't go to school unless they have to and they know exactly what they're going to school for. All this starting school, stopping school, changing majors 10 times just because you're told you have to go to college. Don't go to college. Go experience the world. Go find your passion.
Yeah, and that goes a lot from just not knowing what you want to do in life. And 9 times out of 10, all you've ever seen was your parents going to work and providing. They wanted to make sure that you had food and clothes on your back. I know y'all have heard, that's all I ever heard. I just want to make sure that I got food on the table for my kids, a roof over their head, and clothes on their back. Nah, hell no. I want to make sure my kids got even more than that. Because we deserve more than just food on the table, clothes on our back, and a roof over our head. Like, don't instead stop trying to get the $1 million roof over my head because we don't need that. And let's get this $100,000 roof and take the other 900,000 and make it go to work. And we get trapped in words, and once again, that's why we're doing this challenge for 30 days, because people get the credit scores and stuff mixed up, right? Like they get credit scores mixed up thinking, well, it's to get a house or it's to get a car. But if you remove those words, the foundations that they told us, like the car and the house, and you just say that the credit score is to get money, all right? Don't say a house, don't say a car. Now it's how much money can your credit score obtain? If you got a $400,000 house, your credit score can obtain you $400,000. Just don't go get the damn thing in a house because you never had the $400,000. They just told you we'll loan it to you because we can get some interest back off you. But if you have the mindset that I have a credit score, it can get me 400,000. I know they're going to get 2%, 3% interest off me. How can I get 18? So I can give them their percent and I can get back mine. Because now my money's going to work. It's not sitting in a house that I'm paying back a mortgage because once again, I needed to up my credit score, or get a car because I needed to up my credit score. That's some made up shit that people put into our minds. And just once again, it ain't true.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people want to like wear their money and show their money more so than actually have money. It's so much more of a appearance thing. And I'm sorry, I'd rather live my life. Sure, I could show it off, but I want to enjoy. I want to have the travel. I want to be able to give my future kids the world. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a problem. Mindsets. But you touched on a like very big thing. Like I feel like we don't dream or set our standards high enough. And that's like a major problem. So, like what do we dream? Like what are your goals? And are you reaching for this like the stars? Or are you only shooting for the sky? Like,
but are you reaching for the sky thinking you're reaching for the stars?
maybe.
Because sometimes people feel like, because a lot of times it's just like, you want to do better than your parents, or you want to do, and sometimes better than your parents might just be a half of a level better. Maybe they had a nice job, got a pension, and you went to college and got another job. So people associate, I went to college with doing better than.
Well, here's the thing though. For instance, before I started making my own money and could travel for myself, like I always seen Vegas on TV, and I never seen myself in Vegas. Always just thought that was like some baller shit to do. Like you need a lot of money to get to Vegas. Until I actually flew to Vegas and realized like you could have a great time. Well, guys need money, but like you can have a good time, and it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. It still costs, but it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. And then, I traveled overseas and I started to see, what I thought was struggling to me in another country is gold. And I never witnessed it. And the same thing happens with money. Like, if you don't understand how easy it is to obtain $1 million, you can't get it because you never put yourself around anybody that obtained $1 million. And you never had them tell you it's so easy to obtain $1 million. And better yet, let me break it down and show you how easy it is. So all we see is $1 million, and we making $60,000 a year, and they taking a third out of it. We got a long way to go to $1 million because that ain't the path of a millionaire. Like, that is the path of somebody that's going to be at work until they're 65. And then once they get out, maybe, just maybe, they might be a millionaire.
But will the million actually be worth anything?
People probably make $1 million over the course of their lifetime, but it's so spread out that it doesn't even touch it.
Yeah, like I don't want $1 million when I'm 65. Like that's too long. You should have your $1 million like yesterday. Because why get $1 million and you couldn't go travel because your knees hurt now, or
I'll take care of that.
or your back messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like none of that's fun. So why wait to get $1 million at 65? Like get $1 million yesterday. But it's really just breaking it down. And so many people, like when I say this is when people start to call me cocky and all of this stuff, because I'm like, it's easy to obtain $1 million. And I just say it so nonchalantly that
I mean, you've done it.
I know, but it's just, it's like how I broke the math down to you guys on the call. Like, the thing is, people will sell a $20 shirt. Let's take this, right? People will sell a $20 shirt and they'll be like, I don't want to make too much. I just want to make $500. Well, I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why did you just limit yourself like that? Because now all you're focused on is making $500. And then you make your 500 in a week and you like, damn, I did it. And you stop. But you just had the method of, like, you were building a millionaire strategy. You just stopped the shit at $500. Like, why did you do that? Like, that's the ear. I'm over here, talking with someone over here, and they have a spa running out of their house, and she kept talking about, like, she wants to do this and she wants to do that, but she's growing her business. It's her baby, and she's taking her time. And you can't take your time. Like, I didn't get. I kept asking her, like, how much money do you need in order to be free, like the way that she was saying, right? And she couldn't give me a number. She just kept talking about more shit that she needed to do. And that's my whole purpose. Like, you don't have a number here. So if you don't have a number, you are going to bust your ass because there's no end. Like, but if you got a number, you can understand, like, all right, well, if I sell this 200 times and I have 4 clients a day and I do this 3 times a week, I'm hitting my target. I'm on track to the number that I need to obtain. But nobody wants to write that down. And they say that the math is too simple. It can't work. And I'm just like,
Have they tried it though?
Why does it feel so uncomfortable to get started?
The thing is, they're started. It's just they switch the words around, and they switch it around to words that don't have meaning, don't give you your confidence. Like I said, they'll sell the $20 t-shirts and just make $500, and they like, oh man, that was just a quick hustle for me. Like, no, don't say that, man. Like, you were a salesman. You were a saleswoman that attained $500 in 2 weeks. Start doing the math so you can break it down in your head and give yourself a quick win. So now it's like, oh shit.
The confidence thing.
But you don't break it down so you can't develop a story for yourself. So it's you just did some shit and you made $500. But if you broke it down and you was like, all right, well, 3 days out of the week, I got on Instagram and I promoted this. It took me an hour. In all actuality, I did do the $500 in 2 weeks, but I really made about $82 an hour because that's all the time I put into it. So now just imagine if you took that formula and you increase your hours and your time, the time spent, your dollar price should increase. But since you don't call it a business, you just call it some fun shit, you don't think in that manner. You don't believe that you could do what you just did. You just did that shit, but you don't want to call it what it is because it wasn't $1 million. It was only 500.
You don't
Hey,
that's
only, we like, it's only $500.
But here's the thing. Everything is like stages. You got steps along the way. So when you look at the GPS, you have your starting location and you know where you want to go, and you follow each turn and each step along the way. It's not only just a turn, it's one turn closer to where you got to go. So if it wasn't for that turn, you wouldn't be making it to your destiny, like your destination.
That's
so,
an analogy.
huh?
It's a good analogy.
Right? But it's one of those things, like there's steps along the way, and just like when we were babies, we stood up, we fell, we failed, but guess what, each step, each fall was taking us closer and closer and closer to the fact that now we were able to get up and we were able to walk without falling as much, because we learned and we gained strength in that process. And then like through that we were able to jog, and then we were able to run, and then we we're able to kind of like maneuver through life. So feeling like you're going to go through life and you're not going to have failures, you're not going to go through struggles and obstacles. The obstacles are the things that make you great, because that's where you gain your strength. That's where you gain your experience and your wisdom and your knowledge. If things were so perfect all the time, then, I mean, it wouldn't even seem worth it. So, I mean, I feel like people need to take joy in all the moments along the way, because it makes them happier. And like Stephen Furtick, right? He likes to call it like the gratitude gap. Like, yeah, you're not where you want to be yet, but you're sure enough not where you used to be. So find joy and find gratitude in that gap, because that gap is going to be the thing that you look back and you be like, you know what? I know I'm not here, but I also know everything I did to get to this place. And what I did to get here, I'm going to take that same energy and I'm going to use that energy and use that understanding, and I'm going to get there. So I know, because I was able to get from there to here, I know I can get from here to there. I just got to keep going. But if you stop, you'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always laugh at making the band, right? So, the people that went on the show making a band, they just knew that they had a leader who's where they want to be. Like, he has the access to everything that they believe that they need. Mm-hmm. So Diddy made them go through a lot of shit, right? A lot of dumb stuff, just to figure out like who's really going to stick through this. Did he need cheesecake across the bridge that they needed to walk to? No, he probably could have just paid somebody and they would have got it in no time. But it's the fact that these people, they need a vision to follow. And if he didn't make them go through some stuff to get there, like, they wouldn't have been grateful. And as you can see, as time went on, they started to realize like, oh, we made the band. But they kept forgetting, like, no, that was Diddy that made that band. You didn't make that band. Like, just because he said y'all was connected, you didn't make the band. Like, people were following that show strictly because of Diddy. And now that the show's over, like, you watch them dwindle away because they never visioned themselves really being a part of that band. They were following Diddy's vision. Diddy's vision was, I'm going to put these people together in the house and I'm going to make a whole lot of money off of them. I'm going to make them do some crazy stuff, and see who really want to get it. And maybe, just maybe, I can roll the dice and get one lucky one out of the group. But if I don't, I hit my goal. He hit all his goals that he wanted to hit. The rest of the stuff was just, some extra icing on the cake, and it was never his job to make people famous. Put you in the right spot, it's your job to execute. But it's hard to execute, if you're not believing that that's you. I've always believed it.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, just kind of not necessarily wrap it up, but summarize everything. Like, you got to have confidence. Don't let your past determine your future. You can do a lot more than you give yourself credit for. You just got to keep trying and have a vision. Dare to dream. It's okay to dream. Like, dream again, and dream big. Sky's the limit. Like, if you can think about it, go for it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Your finances, if you feel like you're not doing well financially, it's okay. The same way that you can feel sick physically and you find a way to get healthy is the same way you can find a way to feel financially healthy and get financially well. Seek knowledge, reach out. Like, you got Chelsea's Change, you got Living Well with Dr. Nell, you got official Travis Davis. Reach out to us, talk to us, ask questions, inquire. You never know what you don't know. So make sure you ask. And there's no dumb questions. If you have it, there's more than likely a lot of people who have that same question. So don't feel ashamed or embarrassed to ask, because that was something that a lot of people said as to why we don't have these financial conversations is people are ashamed and embarrassed. And you don't know what you don't know. And it's okay. It's okay to not know, but it's not okay to stay that way. So reach out and just do you. Don't worry about what other people think, because everybody's always going to have something to say. So just do what you got to do, what's going to be best for you. And I mean, dream, be confident, and find mentorship and start surrounding yourself with people that have the life and the mindset that you want or better.
You know. All right, guys. I thank everyone for tuning in to yet another session of Wealth Wednesdays. Uh, Hopefully, you guys got a lot out of this conversation talking about money. And we'll continue these conversations. Make sure that you visit hustlethenet.com. Register there. We do have events going on Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. It's all meant to help educate you on things that you don't know. So there's no excuse there. I myself have a vision of helping 1 million people make $1 million, so we can start going to go buy shit up. That is my entire purpose. I do believe that, you know, we don't have a voice because we don't own. And the reason that we don't own is because we don't put our money together. If I can get 1 million people to make $1 million, damn it, you better not tell me you won't put some money in the pot for us to buy stuff up. So that is the reason that we're doing this. That's my goal of this group. So please make sure you visit and join hustlethenet.com. Once again, if you do want to go with our 30-day challenge, I will be having that information up for you guys, but I do want to go over it again because this topic was just so great. I think it's extremely important to do this 30-day challenge. And we'll be heavy in it starting June. So the first, Monday, we're in it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to read for 15 minutes a day. Second, get rid of the TV, or if you can't stop watching Love and Hip Hop, at least get rid of the news. Get rid of the radio, all right? No matter if it's gospel music, get rid of the radio and replace it with podcasts or courses, something educational. Be careful who you talk with. Ask yourself, what do they have you thinking? What do they have you doing? If it's negative, you need to stay away from them for the next 30 days. If you need a story to tell them, you can give me a call. My story probably won't be that nice. If you want a nicer story to give them, maybe you want to talk to Dr. Nell. But we can give you 2 stories to give these people if that's what you need. I want you to get rid of negative reading. So do not pick up a newspaper or a blog that's going to give you negative information. Don't read Instagram posts of negative information. Drink plenty of water. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes a day minimum. And the last and most importantly, not least, you should do this every night before you go to bed, is to have 15 to 30 minutes of reflection time for yourself each and every day. During that time, you should be looking over what you did for the previous day and what you are going to do tomorrow. So I hope that you guys do join in on that challenge once again. If you visit hustlethenet.com and register there, you will be updated with information once we start sending that out. That is all that I have, I believe. Ladies, I appreciate the conversation. And Harry, is there anything else from?
Yeah, Travis, I got one question.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got one question. So, you gave the exception for the ladies that watch Love and Hip Hop, but I'm a music guy, and you said I can't listen to gospel music. I can only listen to podcasts.
I mean,
Can I just swap out a Vice?
nah.
I think the Love and Hip Hop needs to go too.
I mean, look. I said all TV needs to go.
So we can't give it.
I can listen to my praise music on my iTunes, but I control. They can't listen to Love and Hip Hop because that's real negative.
People be giving me, they got the kids, so they got.
You know what? Okay, excuses.
We
Excuses.
talking about a change in mentality. They gotta break that.
All right. So no TV. Period.
I believe Dr. Travis was answering my question for me before y'all started talking. I just
no TV period. Look, no TV period.
Right. So if I can't listen to jazz music or some old school, I'm not even trying to listen.
Suppose there's music in the background of the podcast you're listening to.
Nah, bro.
Nah. They just gonna have a beat. They're not gonna have the whole clip.
Hey, Travis, we gotta have some type of. Can I get like a couple days out the week or something like that? That's crazy, man.
So you'll have an entire 11 months to listen to more music. It ain't gonna be no new heat coming out.
Like we need to add a reduction in sugar. There needs to be kind of a food thing added to this. I believe.
Let her reduce her sugar. I'm just. I'm not listening to no new heat. I'm listening to old school music, man. I can't.
So say the words in your mind as you're listening to the podcast to help you remember lessons that you're gonna learn on the podcast.
All right. What if you're making your own music?
I even asked if I could listen to music while I exercise.
Gospel music is that?
Why not? It makes me feel good. It helps with my mental.
I got some good tax podcasts y'all can listen to. And y'all can listen to.
All right, we're gonna put together some really good.
How about this, Harry? If you're into music,
yes,
listen to some podcasts of people who can help you become a better musician.
Why can't I make the music, not listen to?
Hey, you can make it. If you're listening to your own music that you're making at that time, you're doing work. So I don't care.
Oh, okay, cool. That
don't listen to nobody else's music though.
So no sampling. I got to do my own music.
Yeah, if that's what if you need music, go make your own.
All right.
Yeah, so they'll force you to be creative.
Okay.
See? Problem solved.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be posting. I'm gonna ask who's gonna join in on this challenge, and I'm gonna leave you guys to be accountable. We're gonna be checking in.
Oh yeah. We might have to make it like a text group or something that I text every day or something.
You need to add another factor in it since it's gonna be this hard. I should make it even harder.
What? I'm giving up snowballs.
the marshmallow joint.
Post every.
You said what?
Part of my thing is gonna be posting.
I'm about to lose 20 pounds, and I'm gonna be better with posting.
I'm about to gain more muscle.
Watch how much y'all learn in doing that from 30 days. Because, I mean, you're going to be forced to listen to educational stuff. It's like, no way. You're going to get tired of listening to your own self-talk.
We're detoxing.
I did it for 3 months last year. It was awesome.
I'm trying to tell you, change your life. Start making you think about things that you could do. Then you're going to research about it. And then, Harry, you might fuck around and never even think about doing music again, but yet starting a studio or something where everybody else is doing the music because you just love listening to everybody else do music. Like, that's you never know, man. You never know.
Right.
But you need to listen to the hustle of the business that people are doing so you can your mind can start to think like, all right, I know how to do this in music. And if he did that to make money, I can do this. Like, Hell, you might be the Jamie Foxx jingle man. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you need to hear how the jingle person is doing business out of it. Because then you gonna go in the studio, since you can't listen to music, and go make jingles. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna follow his direction that he told you on that podcast. Because you ain't got shit else to do.
Okay. That works. I got a lot to do, but I understand it works. Okay.
I'm up for the challenge. Even though I complained a little bit, I'll still do it.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. A lot of people. I'm even debating whether I should put, like, you know, a $5 or $10 fee on it, just to make people commit. And then so this is what was popping in my head, to do like a $5-10 fee. And then at the end of 30 days, if they did follow through everything, they can get their money back, or we could donate it to like a family or something that's struggling in this COVID time.
Well, I'm on the board of a nonprofit, Share Baby.
That was like right in my ear.
Sorry, sharebaby.org, and we're always taking donations. We're helping the kids 0 to 5 here in Baltimore, and kind of extending out in Maryland. We've been doing a lot of work with the virus and people not working. So that would always be a great cause to donate to.
Everybody gotta love the kids. So yes, we should do that. We should make a pile.
Yeah. I think about something like that.
You guys, that's right. That's a write-off. It's just $5, but it's a write-off. Technically a donation.
Yep. All right, guys. That's all that I have for tonight. Anything else from you, lady? Tomorrow we will be back here with Trivia Thursdays. We'll see. If not, maybe I'll teach something. Think about turning that into government contracting, but we'll see. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8:00 with something for y'all.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.